Let's talk about the membrane. A plasma membrane is mainly made out of a bilayer of phospholipids and a bunch of proteins peppered in. The membrane's also amphithetic, which means it has hydrophilic and hydrophobic regions. Those two terms just mean that parts of the membrane will repel and parts of the membrane will attract water. You can see in our diagram the bilayer or two layers of phospholipids, as well as a lot of different types of proteins. Now, these proteins will have a bunch of different structures and functions, but they all help regulate what goes into and out of the cell. Bends in the fatty acid chains of the phospholipids will aid in the fluidity of a cell membrane. And those phospholipids can look really bendy when you actually look at their structure. Remember that these bends are due to the double bonds within the fatty acid chains. Remember that phospholipids will have one polar head and two nonpolar tails. And in a membrane, the polar heads will be oriented on the outsides and the nonpolar tails will be oriented on the insides. Now, these properties will almost create this barrier that makes it selectively permeable against different molecules. One of the last molecules I like to mention when talking about the cell membrane is cholesterol. Now, cholesterol is a lipid and nonpolar, and it helps add fluidity to the cell. So remember that the cell membrane is very fluid and not rigid.